Howdy, my name is Zachary, and I'm a world traveler here to talk to you about travel health insurance. These crutches are recent and real, and that's why I'm making this video today. Is travel insurance worth it? What does it cost? What does it cover? And do you personally need a policy? I have been all over, from India to Brazil, Peru to Costa Rica to Indonesia and the Philippines, and I've never had a serious medical emergency. I've never had travel insurance previous to this year traveling. I always just thought that if I ended up in a bad situation, it would just turn out okay magically somehow. I kind of held on to that hopeful, carefree perspective as long as I could. Cut to post-COVID 2023. The world is open again and travel is a go. I am set up for an extended journey through Southeast Asia, and my lovely parents decide to gift me with a Safetywing insurance policy, kind of as a send-off, hoping that I just stay safe while I'm abroad. And I gladly received the policy, grateful, and still just kind of naive or aloof, like, oh, that'll be helpful if something bad happens. Thank you. Little did I know that this travel insurance policy would save me a bunch of time and money and get me a really good medical procedure that I'm not sure I would have received otherwise. Long story short, I would say it's better to be covered than not. And it's worth having the peace of mind while you travel in foreign countries you're not familiar with, to have a company that can support you in a number of unimaginable situations that you would not hope to end up in. In June 2023, I had an accident while in Thailand. I was hiking near the coast and I slipped on some rocks. Trying to catch myself, I broke my finger. It was a whole ordeal that took many days, dollars, hospitals, and phone calls with Safetywing. All in all, I would say they did a really good job with this process. I ended up going to Bangkok and getting surgery from an orthopedic specialist. He put 2 screws in my finger and patched me up real good. The surgery went really well and I made a full recovery. And with all of the costs and expenses within that whole incident, I only paid $250 upfront deductible, and the rest was literally covered by Safetywing. No out of pocket from me besides the initial $250 that was pretty much getting to the first hospital, x-rays, a doctor's assessment of whether I needed surgery, and an actual splint and some painkillers. If this incident isn't enough to provoke you to think about getting a policy, here's the kicker. In January 2024 of this year, I was in Laos visiting some friends and doing a border run for my visa. One night, I was on the way back to town, driving on a country road with no street lights and no street signs. The roads in Asia are quite terrible and there's a lot of potholes. I simply took a sharp turn too fast and met a patch of gravelly sand and skidded out. As I came to and tried to stand up, I realized that my right leg was completely broken. I had snapped both of these bones and sustained a lot of road rash as well. I was rushed to a local hospital. They took me for an x-ray, cleaned me up, stitched up this huge chunk of flesh missing from my foot, and wrapped my leg in a splint, told me I needed surgery, and that they didn't have a specialist to accommodate me. From that moment, I contacted Safetywing and the specialist who operated on my finger previously, and I informed them of my situation. The next day, I left Laos, having booked a ticket to Bangkok, and stayed in touch with the doctor and my insurance for about 48 hours to get all the logistics clear to go into surgery without having to pay upfront. Safetywing covered all of the costs from checking in for surgery to checking out of the hospital after surgery. Total of 3 days and thousands of dollars that would have cost me out of pocket had they not come through. So I hope this story gives you a little bit more peace of mind about whether or not to have a travel insurance policy. I'm going to talk about 3 main types of travel insurance. One is a travel health insurance policy. That's the main point of this video. 2, travel insurance through your travel credit cards that give you points or air miles. And then 3, connecting with your home health insurance in your home country and extending your policy for travel through them. These 3 options offer different kinds of coverage for different things. Travel health insurance through a month-to-month policy like Safetywing or Genki or Alliance or these kind of companies covers emergencies and usually anything that you experience while traveling. I pay about $45 a month for my Safetywing policy, and for comparable policies, there's a lot of companies out there that cover you month to month for travel health insurance. If you have ongoing pre-existing health conditions, this is something more for your home-based health insurance. And if you need to get medications while you're on the road, that's something to figure out and clarify with your home health insurance before you leave the country. They sometimes offer an extension of your policy or a variation of your policy to keep you covered while you're abroad, and you don't have to start a separate policy like the previous mentioned. And then there's credit card coverage, which doesn't really cover medical. Sometimes they get you back to your home country in the case of emergency, but oftentimes people say, oh, I have health insurance or I have coverage through my travel credit card. And if you look into the fine print, usually this just covers purchases made with that credit card and different things similar to that. So it's not the most extensive coverage usually, and it's not to be assumed that certain things will be covered. It's always good to read the fine print, talk to people, and clarify with your credit card company, with your health insurance, what you're going to be experiencing in different situations while you're traveling. In reviewing Safetywing from a customer's perspective and using my policy as a life experience, I would say they've been really good. They communicate well and they're pretty clear about everything up front. The only thing I do have to point out is that if you're going to get a big surgery and you don't want to pay out of pocket, it usually does take 24 to 48 hours for your insurance company and the hospital to clear all the logistics for the surgery and the cost and the details. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And that was my experience with my broken finger and my broken leg. Out of all my younger years skateboarding, I happened to break my only 2 bones in the last year. I don't understand it, but I am grateful that I had travel insurance coverage. If you found any of this video useful, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, share with someone who's going to be traveling soon, just to give them a reminder that health insurance is important, and definitely something to consider. Thanks again to Safetywing. This isn't a sponsored video, but I just found it really important to me having had this accident recently, so I just wanted to share. I hope that you find some benefit from this in your travels and that you are safe, healthy, and happy in your explorations of yourself and the world. Stay tuned for more important videos about travel and self-development. I will catch you on the flip side, my internet family.